What's up, adventurers? What did the bard say to the paladin? Can I take you on a D8? Today, we're diving deep into the world of text-based Dungeons & Dragons. So grab your keyboards, summon your imagination, and let's embark on this epic journey together. You know, there is something just magical about traditional tabletop D&D. The clatter of dice, the camaraderie around the table, the collective gasp when the dragon rears its head. But what if I told you that you could capture the same magic through the humble medium of text? In fact, a few of my players have said, and I quote, "I hate you," after putting them through an emotional roller coaster so believable that they grew attached to the characters in a text-based campaign that was essentially just me using clever bots to pretend to be real NPCs. Today we're exploring how you, as a dungeon master, can run a text-based campaign for your friends, and if you're a player, why this might be a good idea for you. We'll dive into the pros and cons, discuss how to use platforms like Discord effectively, and share tips on avoiding burnout. Plus, I'll introduce you to some fantastic resources like Tupperbot and Avery that can enhance your game. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be itching to start typing out your own adventures. So first off, let's talk about the pros of running a text-based campaign. One of the biggest advantages is flexibility. In our busy lives, coordinating schedules can be as challenging as defeating a beholder with a wooden spoon. Text-based campaigns allow your players to participate from anywhere at any time. Whether someone's in a different time zone, juggling work commitments, or just had a second newborn baby, or simply prefers the comfort of their own space. Text-based games make it accessible for everybody. Another pro is the depth of creative expression. With text, you have the luxury of crafting detailed descriptions that might be a little too cumbersome in a live setting. Imagine describing the intricate patterns on an ancient artifact or the subtle changes in a character's demeanor. Text allows you to paint vivid pictures that can immerse your player even deeper into the story. Then there's the aspects of accessibility. For players who might be shy or anxious about speaking up in a live game, typing can be a less intimidating way to participate. It gives everybody a voice, and sometimes the quietest players have the most profound contributions when given the chance to express themselves in writing. But of course, to every coin is two sides. So let's discuss the cons of running a text-based campaign. One of the main challenges is the pace. Typing naturally takes longer than speaking, which can slow down the flow of the game. Combat in particular can drag if not managed carefully. It's like trying to outrun a gelatinous cube. Possible, but sometimes requiring a bit of strategy. And then there's also the risk of miscommunication. Without vocal tones and facial expressions, sarcasms or jokes might not land as intended. A harmless jest could be misread, leading to misunderstandings amongst players. It is essential to be mindful of how messages might be interpreted when relying solely on text. Lastly, there is potential for burnout, especially for the dungeon master. Typing out every scene, NPC dialogue, and combat scenario can be very, very taxing. It's like being in a marathon where you're the only runner and the finish line keeps moving. But don't let these cons discourage you. There are plenty of ways to mitigate these challenges. When I run text-based campaigns, I typically do so for 1 or 2 players. This lightens the workload, and it also keeps a schedule that you can get used to. That way you can play each game at a pace that is comfortable for the players involved. Nothing can feel more awkward than being left on red for hours when one player has a life event come up, when everyone else agreed to sit down and have a session. I prefer to run games in Discord, using private channels so we don't bother everyone else. If you know any other apps or programs for text-based campaigns, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Discord is a fantastic platform for text-based D&D. It's versatile, user-friendly, and with a bit of setup, it can become your campaign's bustling hub. Here's how I use it. Firstly, I organize channels meticulously. Think of your Discord server as a virtual tavern with different rooms. You can have separate channels for in-character interactions, out-of-character chats, dice rolls, and even specific locations within your world. This organization can help keep conversations on track and make it easier for players to find information. For example, I might have an Adventures Guildhall channel for general role-playing and a Dark Forest channel for specific quest areas. This way, players can revisit past interactions and catch up if they're missing anything. But what I found myself doing most is that I bold text in Discord that describes character actions. The things that they say are in normal text, and I put things that describe their thoughts in italics. It's more common for a player to put things in italics than me as the dungeon master, and this allows for an easy flow to convey information that doesn't really require bouncing between multiple chats. To make things even easier, I use 2 bots to keep the game interesting and organized, Tupperbot and Avery. Tupperbot allows you to create multiple personas, complete with names and avatars. It is incredibly useful to bring NPCs to life. Instead of typing, "the barkeep says," you can have the message appear as if they're coming directly from the barkeep. Here's what it looks like when the mysterious merchant Zara the Zealous enters the scene. With Tupperbox, her message shows up with her own name and profile picture. Players can interact with her as if she's another user in the chat, adding a layer of immersion that's hard to achieve otherwise. Not only that, it allows me to narrate and describe scenes as my real Discord profile and separate character, actions, and voices, each with their own unique Tupper. It's really great to keep campaigns immersive, and it single-handedly is what I believe to be responsible for my ability to make my players fall in love with a text-based campaign. There is a paid version that allows you to have more features and more Tuppers, but I haven't even found myself wanting to pay for it yet. That's how just awesome it really is. Moving on to Avery. This bot is like having a personal assistant who knows all of the rules and handles calculations for you. For dice rolling, Avery lets you input commands to roll any combination of dice, whether it's a simple d20 roll or a complex damage calculation involving multiple dice types. Avery, it's got you covered. No more scrolling through chat logs to find previous rolls or worrying about someone accidentally typing the wrong number. It can even roll for advantage or disadvantage. Avery doesn't stop there. It also integrates with D&D Beyond, allowing players to manage their character sheets directly within Discord. They can check spell descriptions, track inventory, and even level up without leaving the chat. This seamless integration keeps the game flowing smoothly. And I'm going to be honest, I don't use it for that. I simply use it for rolling dice. But in the interest of full transparency, I can see how it would be super useful to keep everything in the Discord. Tools like Beyond 20 are invaluable. It's a browser extension that lets you roll stats for monsters or even your player card from D&D Beyond directly into the Discord. This means you can focus on storytelling and strategy rather than juggling multiple tabs or copy and pasting information. And finally, Roll20 recently partnered with Discord to bring the virtual tabletop into the voice channels in Discord activities features. When I'm running a text-based campaign for simple encounters, it can be handled in text chat. However, the ability to pull up Roll20 battle maps and have it contained to your Discord for your players to see is a really invaluable recent addition. Even if my players are busy or not in a position to join with audio and video, they can still see a real-time representation of the battlefield. Before this addition, I used to just send my players screenshots of the current state of the battlefield. You can do whatever you are most comfortable with. Now let's address a crucial aspect of running a text-based campaign, avoiding burnout. Running a text-based campaign is a marathon, not a sprint. Here are some strategies I've found helpful. First, set clear boundaries and schedules. Decide on specific times when you'll be actively running the game, and communicate this to your players. This prevents the feeling of being on call 24/7 and maintains a healthy balance between the game and real life. My life, it's almost nothing but Dungeons & Dragons, so I have a hard time setting boundaries as I pretty much am available 24/7. However, one of my players goes to bed around 10 o'clock every night, and so I know from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. he will be generally available. As the DM though, it's always important not to pressure your players to respond if you happen to be more available than them, and vice versa if you're the player, not the DM. Second, encourage participation in storytelling. Let your players describe their actions in detail or even control minor NPCs when appropriate. This not only lightens your load, but also empowers your players to contribute creatively to the narrative. For instance, if a player wants to visit a blacksmith, you might let them roleplay the interaction, providing you with a summary afterward. Of course, you retain control over crucial plot points and roles and the outcome, but sharing the narrative experience can make the game more engaging for everybody and your life a little bit easier. I feel like this would be a good place to point out in the script that One of the best things about a text-based campaign is the ability to search for past information. On Discord, you can use the search bar and type in a few keywords or combinations thereof and immediately find information you've given out that's happened in the past. My next tip is to use templates and shortcuts. For reoccurring descriptions or actions, prepare text snippets that can easily paste into chat. This saves time and ensures consistency. For example, if your party frequently encounters city guards, having a standard description ready can speed up those interactions. And now let's sprinkle in just a smidgen of creative elements to make your game even more engaging. One of the things that I really like to do, especially when running a solo or two-player text-based campaign, is to create DMPCs that can accompany my players on their quests, either for the short term or the long term. This really allows your players to feel like they're not alone, and to help sell the idea that the worlds that you're creating are alive. But it also allows you as the DM to have a little bit of fun too. Just make sure that you don't let your overall knowledge of the game influence your DMPC's actions and give away too much for your player. Let them be the spotlight. If you're running a text-based campaign with 2 to 3 players, imagine setting up a scenario where the party enters a haunted mansion. You can create a sense of dread by sending individual players secret messages about what their characters perceive. Perhaps one hears whispers while another feels a cold touch on their shoulder. This personalized storytelling leverages the strengths of a text-based medium. Consider incorporating puzzles and riddles that requires players to think critically. You can present complex codes or poems that need to be deciphered. This not only challenges them, but also makes excellent use of the text format, where they can scroll back, reference clues, and collaborate in real time. Encourage your players to keep in-character journals or diaries, and they can share entries that reveal their characters' thoughts and motivations, adding depth to the role-playing experience. It's also a treasure trove for you as the DM, providing insights that you can weave into future plot developments. And now, speaking of enhancing your TTRPG experience, if you're looking to get more out of your adventures, you should check out my Patreon. Supporting me there is like unlocking an endless supply of bonus content, ad-free episodes, and even exclusive giveaways. Plus, it helps make TTRPGs my full-time gig so that I can bring you even more awesome content, like our upcoming D&D live streams. The link is in the video description below. In a text-based setting, you can write letters or messages to the other players between sessions. This can foster relationships that can help the main narrative. For example, 2 characters might have shared history at a thieves guild, or a secret communication could add layers of intrigue. Sometimes my players are up and about while I'm sleeping, or I might be running an actual in-person session and these players might not be part of. By allowing them to continue roleplay and talk to each other and even run their own mini-scenarios away from the adventure proper, it really provides a unique experience as a DM to come back and see the conversations that the players have had with each other in character. As the DM, you can incorporate these backstories into the main plot, creating personalized challenges or moral dilemmas. Perhaps a player's long-lasting siblings become an NPC antagonist, or an item from their past holds the key to defeating the big bad. Also, consider hosting out-of-session role-playing events. These can be casual interactions like a festival in a town square or tavern night, where players can explore their characters' personalities without the pressure of advancing the main plot. And let's not forget about leveraging multimedia elements. In a text-based campaign, you can share images, maps, and even music links to set the scene. For instance, dropping a haunting melody into the chat as the party enters ancient ruins. That can amplify the atmosphere. Visuals like hand-drawn maps or character portraits can also enhance immersion. Now, before we wrap up, I want to emphasize that communication is key in text-based game. Establish guidelines for player interactions to ensure that everyone feels comfortable and respected. Since tone can be hard to convey through text, encourage the use of emoticons or indicators like /S for sarcasm to prevent misunderstandings. If you're excited about these ideas, I want to hear about it in the video chat below. And if you'd like to get more in-depth, you should consider joining my free Discord community, the link in the video description below. Oh, well, adventurers, we have reached the end of our journey today. I hope this deep dive into running text-based D&D adventures has sparked your imagination and given you some tools to start creating your own epic tales in maybe your Discord community. Until next time, my friends, keep rolling those dice, and may the quests be epic.